It's about to go down.
You are listening to
This is #1
WPRD 98.3 gcomradio, powered by Lyfeblood.com, and hosted by
You are listening to the incredible
Nova Phoenix and LK Mason.
What's up, y'all? What's going on? This is WPRD 98.3 GCOM Radio. I am your host, Nova Phoenix, and we have LK Mason right here on the side. What's up, lady?
What's up? How everybody doing?
All right, we here, man. We here for the 11th episode. We had a great one last week, man. The 10th epised, I had a good time.
I did
with
too.
all those artists. Yeah, it was fantastic. All the music
like
was great.
again soon.
Yeah, definitely, and it is gonna happen again. You know,
Again.
So, say again.
I said again.
Again? Forever.
You caught that.
Yeah, we definitely like the phone zone, and it's a great thing. I got a couple of other interviews that I have in mind that I'm actually going to reach out and see about doing another phone zone interview. I think it'll be fantastic. So we'll see, folks. As we said, we're going to do some interviews, and they're going to be coming real soon. Okay, so we're going to get into our first segment. This is going to be all about Miss Latasha. Right here, she has a project that's coming up real soon. She has a book called Zana the Brave, a children's book, and she's going to talk about that a little bit and a website to go with it. So, Latasha, you've been working endlessly and tirelessly you're tired right now because you're trying to get things together.
Yes, meeting deadlines. We are launching the website for my book. The website is www.zanathebrave.com, and that will go live on this coming Monday, October 15th. And yes, you'll get to have, see a sneak preview of the book. I'm having the dopest contest you would ever want to see. There are 2 grand prizes valuing $200. So, yes, a lot of good stuff.
What are we doing here? What are we giving away?
Well, I'm giving away Zana the Brave merchandise. So, I have a package for girls, 1 package for girls and 1 package for boys. And in each package, there is a Zana the Brave backpack. There is 2 Zana the Brave t-shirts, a Zana the Brave watch, a $50 gift certificate to Amazon.com, and an autographed Zana the Brave book.
Okay. Now, you're going to talk about a little about this book. What was the inspiration?
The inspiration for this book is, basically, I was getting tired of turning on the news and seeing children and teenagers, young adults, taking their lives because they've been getting bullied, committing suicide, cutting themselves, shooting up schools. And, some of those shootings have been linked back to someone who has been bullied or ostracized. And, it just really touched home for me. I think at some point in our lives, each of us has been, if you weren't the bully, well, oftentimes, those who bully others have been bullied. But I think at some point, we have experienced some type of bullying in our lives. And so as a child, I dealt with some myself. Zana the Brave is loosely based on my childhood and some of the childhood experiences I had with bullying. And Zana just has these creative ways of getting out of or overcoming the bullying. There are some not so nice people, that are teasing her because of her weight. And oddly enough, she's not that much bigger than they are. And there are actually people who are bigger than her that are teasing her. And then, she also has some things that she was born with. I don't know if you've ever heard of people who are knock-kneed or pigeon-toed, but
Right.
she's getting teased for that. That's something that Zana can't help. That's how she was born. So that constant teasing and everything, of course, she's a child. She's in the 5th grade. She's sad about it. And so I
haven't seen much books about that, about as far as bullying, about a child's weight. I haven't seen many children's books about that, so this is unique. So I'm interested to see how this is going to unfold.
Right. So much school bullying going on. Is
that the only thing she's going to be dealing with, or are there other challenges?
Well, as far as Zana, those challenges or that bullying is her problem, but this is going to be a series of books. Okay, this is just the first book. The first book is really just going to introduce the readers to who Zana is and how she became Zana the Brave. The remaining books are going to address other issues. Zana has her crew that she calls her Brave Team, her friends, and they've all dealt with some form of bullying or ostracizing, and for different reasons. She has this very intelligent friend, Miguel, who's Hispanic, and he's a dreamer. So he's afraid that his mom and dad are going to be deported. She has a very good friend, Carly, who's, a dark-skinned African-American young girl, and she's getting teased because of her skin complexion. She has a rich friend, Dylan, who, her parents are very prominent in the community. They have money, and, but Dylan is being teased because she's Caucasian, and they say Dylan acts too black. And then Dylan's grandmother, she's old school, and she doesn't really care for African American people. We'll just put it like that.
Wow.
And and so then she has, another really good friend, Jace, who's biracial, and he gets bullied for that. So everyone gets bullied for some reason. And throughout the series of the book, you're going to learn a little bit more about each of those characters and how we overcome their bullying and how they help others in bullying situations.
Wow. So what's the process you took to get this done? What was the process like?
Basically it was just like really digging deep. Like I said, it borrows from some of my childhood. So some of these stories actually did happen, when I was a child. Whether it happened to me or happened to a close friend, I borrowed from those instances, in my childhood.
So you think it had a deep effect on how you see yourself today?
I think that it did shape and mold me into being a stronger person, a more compassionate person, because I understand what it feels like to be on that side where, you're being teased, where you're not even, really the person that's fitting in, although you think you're cool, everybody else might not. You know what I mean? You could be a wonderful person, but because of your appearance or because of, something out of your control, people don't like you or don't want to get to know you. Kids can just be cruel anyways, but it's just going through it and understanding that it gets better. Life gets much better. You just have to be able to live through it. But when I was a child, we didn't have social media and all that. But, I think that's something that we all talk about today is how we had an escape. We may get bullied at school, and then when we come home, we don't have to deal with it. Whereas the kids these days, they're bullied at school and it follows them. It's on social media, they're getting attacked, and, they have their cell phones, it's getting sent to their text messages and things like that. So, that not being able to escape, being able to have a release, it makes it even tougher. And so I think that's why we have those high rates of suicide and those school shootings.
How's she going to deal with this bullying? Well, of course,
I
you don't want to give
the
away
story.
too much.
Yeah.
You can't give the story away too much. But, I know when I was a kid, when I dealt with bullying, I never really, half the time I never even really mentioned it to my mother. It was just something that I internalized and dealt with,
Right.
whether it was successful or not. But I think a lot of kids deal with that. And it'd be interesting to see, to give some direction on how kids should kind of deal with their these episodes,
Right.
and how it could, turn into anxiety. So I'd be interested to see how that turns out, honestly.
Right.
So where is a series? Do you see this? I see a cartoon in the works.
Oh,
here.
yes.
Do you see that?
The vision is so much bigger. I plan on expanding on, the book series and the story. I think, according to my test groups, I think it's going to do exceptionally well. And just, for like teachers and parents, I think this is something that will start a discussion, with my focus groups of children. I mean, as young as 9 years old through 12 years old. They really opened up and told me things that like I had no clue. You read about the children who commit suicide or attempted to commit suicide, but I don't know that I read about them as young as these kids that I had a test group with. And they're telling me like friends their age were cutting themselves, and they're telling me stories about, kids that try to hang themselves. And I'm like, what? Wait, you're 10 years old,
Yeah, what are we talking about?
Yes.
Yeah.
And so, it's basically opening that discussion. Okay, well, what did you do when you heard this? What did you say when your friend told you this? So I think this is also, one of those great talking point things. The parents can have their children read this, or the teacher can have the children read this, and then open up that discussion. Have you ever,
that was my next question. How does the parents, work into the story and the adults? Because of course it's centered in on Zana and the Brave team, but it's also important to see how parents deal with that. Like I don't know if that's actually highlighted in the book.
Yeah, there are some influences that you'll be glad to see in the book. Some adult influences. I'll mention at least one. There was a teacher that Zana turned to. There are some things that I think they're taught to do anyways. Turn to someone, tell someone that this is going on. And then sometimes when you talk to people, it still keeps going on, and that's what makes it difficult for kids, right? Because they are telling about it, but it just keeps going. So what do you do? What happens when this bullying or this teasing and this tormenting keeps going on? And so that's what the series is all about. How do you make this stop?
Yeah, that's tight, man. I'm looking forward to that.
Thank you.
And you just gonna the website is gonna drop when?
The website is dropping on Monday, October 15th.
Yeah, because I shared it a couple times, and you'd be surprised who shares these stories in their own lives. A couple of people reached out to me asking about the book, and I'm like, oh wow, look at this. People are interested because they've had similar stories.
Right.
So I definitely think this is going to connect with a lot of folks that has dealt with this same story, man. It's going to be interesting. Zana the Brave. That's what's up, man.
Yes.
I'm looking forward to it. We're going to keep going talking about it as the time goes on. Folks, check this out. Please go to Zana the Brave on Facebook. Right? You plug it. You go ahead, lady. Tell people
all
where
of
they
our
can see
social media is at Zana the Brave. That's ZANA the Brave. That's on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. And then our website is www.zanathebrave.com.
Boom. Let's do that. All right, yo.
Make sure you
All right,
follow us so you know how you can win that $200 prize.
Boom. And we're gonna put it on the website, and even throw it on Lyfeblood too at the same time. And let people know about it, man. That's hot.
Much respect.
Yeah, so we're gonna get into the first song of that we have available. We're gonna listen to Alan Oxigen Underwood Jr. from Chicago, Illinois. His song is called Days and Nights. Listen up.
Is Brian Cavelli Productions.
Oh yeah.
Sounding off around the world. You are listening to GCOM Radio.
Okay, we are back. We just heard Alan Oxigen, Underwood Jr. from Chicago, Illinois, Days and Nights. Yeah, man, cool song. So we're going to go into the second. What are we talking about? We're talking about Kavanaugh. This guy, Brett. Good old Brett Kavanaugh. Yes.
Your boy.
My boy. But, yeah, so he got sworn. He's in there, which I knew he was going to get in. I knew this dude was going to get in. I think we all knew. Because, you know, they were talking about, we got to do this investigation. And it is a Republican-led query. So you already know what direction that was going to go in. So, you know, he looking crazy guilty. You know, when somebody's screaming and being belligerent and answering a question with a question. You know,
or refusing to answer
questions. You know there's something suspect about my whole self. I mean, why are you on the defensive, bro? Because that just screams like you on the defensive. You don't want people to know what you know, whatever you did. Now, it is a job interview. At the end of the day, it's a job interview. You know, it's not a scene out of what's that movie with Tom Cruise? You can't handle the truth. Love that movie, by the way.
Is it A Few Good?
A Few Good Men, right?
Remember.
It's not a court of law, but at the same time, it would bring into question his ability to be impartial as a Supreme Court judge.
Right.
So my thing is, should he have gotten in there? In lieu of all that have come out about this dude, I don't think so. And especially how he even got introduced. All right, because a lot of people, you know, tend to forget that the Supreme Court judge that stepped down, his name was Anthony Kennedy. Remember, he stepped down out of nowhere. All right, he just popped up on the news. Supreme Court Justice Anthony Kennedy is stepping down from his position. What is going on? Actually, Anthony Kennedy. So this is coming out of nowhere. He's stepping down, which opened the door for Trump to get his guy in to be more conservative leaning candidate that could tip the scales of whatever domestic policy that may be brought across the table of the Supreme Court. Now, again, a lot of people may have forgotten or don't know, Supreme Court Justice Anthony Kennedy's son, Justin Kennedy, was the global head of the real estate capital, of the bank Deutsche Bank. He was the head of the real estate capital markets division, which loaned Trump close to or over $1 billion. When no other bank was loaning Trump money at the time, Justin Kennedy, hey, no problem, you know, glad hand and bumping the gums, was able to give Trump over $1 billion in loans. Now, of course, to me, you know, something smells rotten, because if, you know, Justin Kennedy was the point person at Deutsche Bank to give out loans to Trump, and now his father was a Supreme Court justice and he's stepping down out of nowhere, you got to start thinking, what is going on here? Something is happening behind closed doors, some bad deals happening, possible pressure on Justin Kennedy and his father to compromise his position as the Supreme Court justice as far as Anthony Kennedy. You don't know what pressure put on him, Trump. He could probably say, hey, man, and your son did a lot of bad deals in Deutsche Bank. You wouldn't want that to come out, would you? Huh? You want your son to go to jail for 30 years? You don't know what's happening. You know what I mean? As the position that Trump is taking as the president of the United States. So even that whole situation is fishy. Now you got this dude Kavanaugh that's sliding up in there, you know, questionable in all types of ways. And this dark cloud of hanging over his head on this sexual harassment thing or sexual aggression on this woman. What was the woman's name? I'm sorry, I should know this woman's name. She was oh man, I can't believe sometimes
Ford.
You know, I talk about these people all the time. I can't remember the
first name right now.
Get her name right now. I am totally messed up. I should know. Christine Ford, that's her name. Christine Ford that came forward, but it's somebody. It is. I'm sorry, Dr. Christine Blasey. That's her name. That was the original woman. Dr. Christine Blasey, she comes forward and says all these things. And it's kind of reminiscent, as everybody knows, with Anita Hill, with the other Supreme Court judge, Clarence Thomas, when he was coming into question many years ago, when he was getting his job interview to be on as a Supreme Court justice, Anita Hill came forward, and everybody knows what happened with that case. She pleaded her case. He got in anyway. And now here it is. It's happening again with this dude Kavanaugh. I mean, what do you think him getting in? What does that mean for women in the United States? How does that look?
I don't know what to think. I don't because
as a woman, how did you feel when all this was unfolding and this dude, the way he was acting? I mean, and then he gets in. I would like to hear from someone on the ground, a lady like yourself.
I talked about it one of our last episodes when I watched the whole hearing. I was like, I cannot believe this. And I knew that they were still, because of the way they were talking when they were speaking to him, and they weren't really taking the opportunity to try to gather any more facts. They were basically just trying to bash the Democrats. When they had their chance to ask questions, I said, oh, they don't even care. They're going to vote this man in. And, so watching him and, when he first gave his opening statement, I was like, oh, I feel bad for him. What if it's not true? What if it is a mistaken identity or whatever? Even though she was very believable, she seemed very genuine. She was a credible witness to me. When he was giving his opening statement, I was like, maybe it could be a mistaken identity. But once they got to asking him questions, I was like, oh no, he lying. I said he is lying, and they're going to vote him in anyways, because while the Democrats were trying to dig and get him to answer questions, the Republicans were basically just taking digs at Democrats and saying, that this was all a ploy for the Democrats to postpone the process or whatever. So I just think our whole system is screwed up. I think that it's unfortunate that, it boils down to winning and losing as opposed to what's best for our nation. And I'm just, it's appalling. It's disgusting. And I think that, anyone who feels anything, for a woman and feels anything about the importance of the future of our country really needs to get out and vote in November.
You think this rots the inner core of the Republican Party, even though there are a lot of other things that could be probably more so intense? As far as what the Republican Party represents, do you think this puts the Republican Party in the question?
I think there are a lot of Republicans that don't agree with. I think there are a lot of Republicans that really don't agree with the decision, and whether or not they agree with it, they're not going to speak up about that. I don't think that. I think this was one of those times, though, that people outside of that committee and outside of the administration were really coming together, because it was like, I don't care if you're Republican, I don't care what color your skin is, that doesn't matter to me. If you did these things, you should not be getting the position of a Supreme Court judge. You just shouldn't. You know what I mean? Like, you should not get that position, and this is a position that's for a lifetime. And so from what I have been seeing, from people posting, from people on talk shows and things like that, it seems to have been a uniting factor in that part of it. Everybody's on their separate ways, Republican and Democrat, but in that part of it, in understanding that he was a horrible person in the hearing. They were like, he was rude, he was abusive. Everybody across the line, whether they were Republican or Democrat, unless they were somebody who is paid to argue against the other side. You know what I mean? Pretty much everybody was like,
Right.
yeah. Nobody thought he was really a good fit, but everybody thought, yeah, they're going to vote him in.
Yeah. I think definitely it sours the milk for the Republicans as far as how the general feeling of how people feel about the party. I think the core base will always support the Republican Party and the new face that it represents in a lot of different ways, and the face that it's taking on now. But I think in the long stretch, I think there are going to be some moderate Republicans and independents, and just I think the general feeling across America that people will feel like, oh man, this is not the direction where we want to go.
I think a lot of people been feeling
and
that.
will have an effect November 6th. Yeah, a lot of people be feeling that. It's definitely going to be felt November 6th because, you know, I think I heard that you don't win people over with facts. You win people over with emotion. And that's one thing that people do remember when it comes to memory. They may not remember detail, but they remember how they felt. And if the general emotion, and if the general emotion is ugh and disgust, it does have an effect on the choices that people make in the future. So, not a good look. I even from a male point of view, it's like not a good look.
He even seemed like a bully when they were questioning him. You know, a woman, Justice was, well, not Justice. One of the senators was trying to ask him questions, and you know, he got disrespectful with her, and he ended up coming back after the break and apologizing to her. His wife probably whispered in his ear like, "Yo, you know, what was that about?"
Oh, let me tell you, did you see the one last thing before we go? Did you see the video of Trump and him and his family and Kavanaugh's family there? And, you know, they're like shaking hands. I don't know what it was that whole meeting was about, but everybody was there, I guess, to show that he was chosen and, you know, a little congratulatory meeting. And if you look at the face of his wife, yo, you cannot. It was like almost out of like Devil's Advocate with Keanu Reeves. She was like half smiling and didn't want to look him in the face and other people in the face, and it looked like she was just going along with it. It was like
I didn't see it, but yeah,
wow. I'll send it to you after. You're gonna be like, let me tell you, man, it's hey,
right.
You mess with the devil, and that's what you got to deal with. You know what I mean? So, all right. So on that note, we out. The next song that we have here is Urban Republic 1 Mogan. Yes, they will play. Hold on. We played them last episode, the video, but we didn't get to play the other song. So what we have here, definitely to make up from a missed opportunity, we have Urban Republic coming with Dewey Da Don, straight out of ATL, featuring Novocaine, Cash App.
Wrecking shit like a crash dummy. Bitch never get the last from it. I'm pulling up, look just to fuck, and a bitch still give me gas money. Hit my cash app. Hit my cash app. I'm wrecking shit like a crash dummy. Bitch you never get the last from it. I'm pulling up, look just to fuck, and a bitch still give me gas money. Hit my cash app. Hit my cash app. She breaking bread, I'm playerific. Moving weight, you in the gym lifting. Turn my neck, my diamonds glisten. My paint wet like I got it christened. I give you game if you pay attention. Want to ride, gotta pay admission. Bustin' up, yo, time is ticking. Not a punter, we ain't gotta kick it. Might pass the pussy on the money play. I get the pussy in the day. My main bitch, she call revenge. You want the pussy, you gotta pay. Nigga that's pimpin'. Water on the rest of my shit be drippin'. Nigga never slippin'. 4-5 grippin'. Niggas ain't tippin'. Breaking shit like a crash dummy. Bitch never get the last from it. I'm pulling up, look just to fuck, and a bitch still give me gas money. Hit my cash app.
Listen up.
You're listening to gcomradio.
I'm wrecking shit like a crash dummy. Bitch never get the last from it. I'm pulling up, look just to fuck, and a bitch still give me gas money. Hit my cash app. Hit my cash app.
She wanna lay it down, better pay it now. This Pippin here ain't no playing around. Send that Cash App, that Venmo, that Apple Pay, that PayPal. Got goalie all in my veins. Try to let me put you on to this game. If you ain't finna fuck Nova, then you ain't finna fuck James. Hey, lost a good girl on to another chapter. Well moves only now you fuckin' with a factor. Fuck a white bitch, seen her ass getting fat around to give her this, didn't get Starbucks after. Oh shit, whoa shit, that my bro shit. Now I just really gotta focus. Getting head when you drive is hard to focus. Blowing all out, but I like it when you roll it.
Wrecking shit like a crash dummy. Bitch never get the last from it. I'm pulling up, look just to fuck. And a bitch still give me gas money. Hit my cash app. Hit my cash app. I'm wrecking shit like a crash dummy. Bitch, you never get the last from it. I'm pulling up, look just to fuck. And a bitch still give me gas money. Hit my cash app. Hit my cash app.
This is gcomradio, powered by Lyfeblood.com. Come join, be a lifer. Practice dollar power and build financial independence.
Yes, we are back. We just heard Urban Republic, Dewey Da Don featuring Nova Kane, straight out of ATL with Cash App. Yeah, they got some bangs. So we're going to just knock this out. We have one last segment to go. And this one is, should people be vegan? And I'm no expert, but I know how I feel about it. And I have a little bit of experience. When I was young, 15 years old, again, let me start. This was started out by the conversation was inspired by this guy named Shaka that I'm connected to on IG, and he is a vegan. And he's proud of it, and he shares all the time that people should be vegan and cut out the meat. Now, when I was young, 15, I made a decision to be a pescatarian. Pescatarian are people that just eat fish. So I went on a fast first, a week fast, did that thing, and I was a pescatarian for many moons. For about like 15 years. So I say, or a little longer. But about 5 years ago, I decided to start back eating meat. Now, my whole thing is, should people be vegan? I think it's a personal choice. And my brother kind of put it to me like this, because he's not even nowhere close to this. And he was like, yo, bro, 50,000 years ago, human beings were eating meat and we survived. Now, all of a sudden, we found some kind of a thing with meat, and all of a sudden we shouldn't eat it anymore. Well, so what you telling me? 50,000 years you just throw out the window? So nothing happened to us for all those eons, and all of a sudden we should stop. Right. So I gave it some thought. I was like, you know what? Wait a second. You have a point. So I just started eating meat again. So my thing is, I do understand meat is different from how we did it as hunter-gatherers 50,000 years ago. I get that. Meat is more processed. It goes through, the way they butcher the meat, how they, mistreat the animals, and not just mistreating the animals, but, the piss that it creates. I saw one where there was a pig farm and there was a lake of just a piss from the pigs, and they slice it, and then they slice the bladder, and the piss runs all over the meat. And I've seen some pretty gruesome videos that were put out on how they actually butcher this meat. But hey, man, listen, I think if you want to eat meat, you try to come as organic as possible. If you want to stay a meat eater, if you want to be a vegan, be my guest. Go ahead. You have a right. But I just don't want to get into this food snob thing. And you would think less of people. And this guy is a little young. He's like 26, I think 27. And my thing is, I've been there, done that. All right. I'm much older than this guy. I read the books. I've listened to a bunch of, cassettes and all this stuff, and went through my process of learning and understanding. To me, I take it as this guy's just starting in this. So he feels very like this is fresh to him. Oh my God, people should do this, blah, blah, blah. But I don't know. What's your take on it?
I feel like, you should do whatever is best for your body, whatever works for you and your body. I happen to, and I've never been able to really digest vegetables properly. And I would, ask my doctor, like, man, I love apples. I love Granny Smith. I love Macintosh. I love the Gala apples or whatever. And I'm like, I get so much pain when I eat fruits and vegetables. I love, like broccoli, Brussels sprouts. I'm a fruit and vegetable
you a special
person.
Case, though.
Yes.
Right.
And I always had a hard time, and they were like, oh, you have irritable bowel syndrome, whatever. And then, as I got older, it just became worse and worse. And so I really don't eat that many vegetables anymore because I don't want to be in pain. You know what I mean?
Wow.
So I think you have to do what's best for your body. And I think that you can't be judgmental of other people. You don't know people's story. You don't know,
Right.
I was going to tell you, but we were like, nah, let's save it for the show. I was in LA, and there's this, person that I know. She was somewhat of a celebrity, and we were going to eat, and we were trying to decide what we were going to eat. And she was the only person in the car who was a vegan. And, we're like, well, you can find vegetables to eat anywhere. You trying to take us to some vegan restaurant, and we don't have no meat. Like, no. And so, because we, it was 3 other people in the car, and, she was the only one trying to go to a vegan restaurant. She was like, oh, that's so disgusting. You guys are disgusting. You eat meat and this and that and other. And I was getting more and more, what's the word I'm looking for?
Aggravated?
I was getting heated because, chick, and I told her this. I'm like, hold up, pump your brakes. Like, not even 2 minutes ago, you telling us all these stories about you hooking up with all these dudes. You know what I'm saying? But you gonna call us nasty because we eat meat? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you threw it in her face.
You traveling the country, getting busy with whoever and whatever, but we nasty?
No, but we nasty because we eat meat.
And I am not judgmental. I have a lot of friends that are promiscuous or whatever, male and female. They do what they do. Hey, that's what you do. What you do. Whatever. I don't get in people's. But she kept talking about it, and the more she kept saying it, the more my face started turning red.
She had the wicked side eye, like, hold on, player.
And I just was like, I'm gonna need you to pump your brakes real quick. Because do you understand what you're saying right now? Do you hear yourself? You're calling us nasty because we eat meat.
She's trying to shame y'all.
You know what I'm saying?
Food shame y'all.
But you don't think you're nasty for going around the country on tour and stuff.
Exchanging body fluids.
You don't think that's nasty at all, right?
Yeah, that's cool.
Right. You nasty heifer.
Yeah, so she was trying to shame y'all so she can get what she wants.
So she can get what she wants.
Okay. Nah, that's what I don't like. And this dude Shaka be coming off like this. And I'm like, yo, man, why you ain't got to shame people? You could educate them now how this food is good for the body.
But there's nothing to even be ashamed of. You know what I mean?
Nah. Listen, there's certain bad foods. Yeah, we shouldn't eat. There's a lot of crap food out there. I get it. We shouldn't eat certain things. They're just bad. Okay, I get it. We shouldn't I have a family friend that ate a whole pack of bacon. Okay, not even a family friend. My brother-in-law. This dude ate a whole pack of bacon, like one shot. Should you do that? No. Maybe you shouldn't eat a whole pack of bacon. Right. Okay. Everything in moderation. Right. So the extreme cases I understand. I get it. You shouldn't eat McDonald's morning, noon, and night.
Right.
Okay, I get that. No doubt. But if somebody wants to have a steak one day, all right, or 2 days or whatever, if they do, if they want to have a quarter house, let them eat their steak.
Right.
Okay. They can have it with mashed potatoes and vegetables and all that, whatever. But I don't think, it's just this, sometimes this food snobbery that comes along with vegans that be killing me. I'm like, yo, you ain't got to be holier than thou.
Yeah, it's all about people believing that what someone else does is worse than what they do. You know what I mean? Because, and I say this all the time, and I'm sorry, fellas, I love y'all, but I have friends and cousins that will always talk about, you shouldn't eat pork, don't eat that pork, da-da-da-da-da. and you know it's so bad for you or whatever, and I'm like, okay, but how many women you had sex with the past 4 months? And they're talking about, you know, how they try to get religious on you because they try to tug on my, you know, they know I'm spiritual, so they try to tug on that, and I'm like, you know, the Bible says we can eat anything that God created. You know what I'm saying? But I'm also saying,
what would Jesus say?
But I'm also saying, but doesn't the Bible say you shouldn't fornicate? How many children do you have and you've never been married? You know what I'm saying? Like,
here we go. That's the wrong subject.
And so once you bring that up, then they want to hush. You know what I'm saying? Because you have to bring up something that they do. You know, and it's all about people feeling comfortable doing whatever it is that they do. And if you, you know what I mean? If you do it all, you wrong.
Right. I'm with you. Listen. Everything in moderation, man. Everything in moderation, and you know, certain things we should look out for. Like, we shouldn't have too much fried food. Get it? All right. We shouldn't have, you know, junk food morning, noon, and night. Because sometimes I go to Costco's around here and I see some of the carts that the mothers and fathers be pulling up to the register. I'm like, damn, that's like, some things are out of control. Like, for instance, when you go to the movies, sometimes they overkill on the food that you would buy. Yeah, you would pay $40 for a popcorn and a juice and a candy, but then the size that they're giving you, I get that, it's killer. I'm like, yo, is this the small? Like, the small is the extra large. Right. Like, really? Yeah, this shit is crazy in movie theaters. But, you know, I'm saying, all right, you can cut all that stuff out. You can check what you eat, all right, not have some, you know, instead of white bread, wheat bread. So all certain things I do.
Well, you do know that now they're saying that white bread is good for you.
Oh, word?
Oh, yeah. White bread is good for you now. I can't remember what else that they were saying was bad for you. Carbs, which is, you know, the main one is white bread. Yeah, too much carbs. Yeah, they're saying carbs are good. You know, they're doing research to refute everything that they said before.
And now that you say that, the funny thing you say that, I remember one time, right? This is many years ago. They said on the news, oh, people should eat bran muffins. It's good roughage for your system, and it's nutritional, boom, 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 whatever they were saying about bran muffins. And then a couple of years later, what did they say? Oh, bran muffins are not good because too much to give you constipation, boom, boom. I'm like, okay, is bran muffins good or is it not good?
Right.
Is it perfect in moderation, or we shouldn't eat it at all? So sometimes I think people can have information overload, especially in this digital age on the internet. You get, everybody's got their opinion, everybody got their 2 cents, and they want to tell you what's good to eat and what's not good to eat, and it's like, yo, unplug. All right, I get it. It's just, man, you have a lot of knowledge.
You need to believe in the Lord, and what you never know what He's going to bless and what He's going to give. You know, bless your food, and do what you do. You know, there was this lady. It was a news segment. They were celebrating her because I can't remember exactly how old she was. Around 110, something like that. She was she was close to 110. It was around that range. And they were like asking her questions like, what do you do? You know, how do you do this? You know, and she said she ate her eggs and bacon every morning. Every morning. And her caretaker said she's telling the truth. For as long as we have known her, she eats eggs and bacon every day.
And here's the flip though. Yeah, and you know what? I hear you. I'm right there with you. And she ate her eggs and bacon every day, and she was fine.
Yep.
But then everybody's built different,
right?
So you could give somebody else, they give them eggs and bacon every day. All of a sudden they got to go to the doctor. The doctor's like, you got high blood pressure. You can't eat.
Well,
like
sometimes
that.
It's genetic too, because I know someone that I worked with.
Genetic.
I mean, I don't even think she weighed 100 pounds, and she didn't eat much of anything. And she had high cholesterol and high blood pressure. So, you know, you can't always blame it on, you know, somebody's weight.
On food alone.
You know what I mean?
Right,
on food
right,
or whatever. Right. Yes, you can't.
Right. I think, like I said.
They try to, I'll share this with everyone. A lot of people don't know this.
Sure.
When I was 15 years old, I was diagnosed with high blood pressure, right? And they told me, oh, you know, it's a weight thing. She has to lose weight or whatever. And so I was like, man, you know, I don't want to die. I'm a kid. So you think everything means you're going to die. So I'm like, I don't want to die, you know. Let me start exercising and stuff. And so, you know, I was getting it in. I was exercising, and then, you know, I would go walking at night with my friends and everything, and I lost like 90 something pounds, right?
Wow.
I still had to stay on blood pressure medication. It's not always about your weight. It's not always about what you eat. You know what I mean? A lot of times it's just your genetics. There's nothing you can do about it.
Right. Like they say with food, some people, like I knew a guy, yo, this dude would be snacking every other hour. I'm like, yo, bro, you just had like a little Debbie 45 minutes ago. You eating something else? He's like, yo, man, I just got this. And he's a lean dude. The dude was lean. He's like, I just got like a high metabolism. I just, you know, I snack. And I'm like, damn, bro, because I know if I ate like this dude,
right?
It'd
Well,
be
that's
a wrap.
how I had a best friend. She and I were best friends, and, you know, when I was 15 years old up through adulthood, and we would hang out together. And I had no clue that she ate the way that she ate until we became adults. And I was hanging around her all the time, and like we would literally stop and get something to eat, get some chicken nuggets or whatever, and then we go back to her apartment, and like 20 minutes later, she's like, you want to go to Taco Bell? We just ate, dude. Like, and when I tell you she was tiny, like I said, maybe 100 pounds soaking wet. And then every time she would get pregnant and have those babies, 2 days after she had those babies, she back down skinny mini, no stomach or whatever. Wow. But this girl ate, and that's why when you were saying, I wasn't like shocked when you were talking about the guy talking about a pack of bacon, because she does that. She'll cook a pack of bacon for herself and a pack of bacon for her family. Yes.
And not gain a pound.
Not gain a pound. She will give everybody on her birthday, one piece of cake, and she eats all the rest of it herself. And she don't gain no weight. And so it was funny because she would be trying to gain weight and I would be trying to lose weight. She ate so much more than I did. And it's like, how does this make sense? Like, she eats like a pig. I don't eat like that at all, but I gain and she can't gain. You know what I mean? It was just...
And she gone to the doctor and she told you she was all right, clean bill of health?
We were young back then, so the only thing
okay.
I know is, you know, her having to
how
go to the doctors when she was having them, you know, when she was having her kids. So I guess she was fine.
Word. See how everybody be different? Mm-hmm. Listen, choose your life, make healthy decisions. That's how I say it. You know, at the end of the day, and then you know, and you at the end of the day, you make like, but people smoke. They got it's on the side of the package. You could get emphysema and lung cancer and all this. People smoke anyway.
Right. They smoke, they tan, all that stuff that you shouldn't do.
Right? And people, I can't force a person not to smoke. Right. So at the end of the day, your life is in your hands. This is your life. So if you are eating yourself to a point where it is getting you sick, what am I going to do? So folks out there, eat healthy, eat as healthy as you can, eat meat. That's how I take it.
Live your life.
You make that choice. It's a personal choice.
Right. Live your life.
And if you're a vegan, don't be a snob.
What I
Mind
eat is
your
none
business.
of your business.
Exactly. And say you want to go to a restaurant? Okay, choose a restaurant where both of y'all can eat. Right. But don't be a food snob, yo.
Right.
Yeah. Anyway, that's it. So we're going to ride on out into our third song, and Tyrone G from Cleveland, Ohio. All I Want. Thanks, y'all. Thank y'all for listening to the show. We appreciate it. Check out, again, Zana the Brave. The website is dropping soon. The date again, Latasha.
Yes. October 15th is coming Monday.
October 15th. It's just going to already be on by the time this... Yeah, matter of fact, when it is, it should be up. So we appreciate y'all. Thank you for listening, and we gonna ride out with Tyrone G. All I Want. All right, folks. Thank you. Later.
Let me explain all the things that I'm feeling. I'm on a mission. Before I do, I need a couple more rounds. rounds. I may be tripping, but who am I kidding? Some say good riddance. I say we need to just sit it down and talk for a while. So situation, but I was so impatient. Now my heart is conflict in my actions, baby. Oh, life is too short. 'Cause all I want is you, girl. All I need is you, girl. Yeah. I can't go without you, girl. All I need is you, girl. Yeah. Give me the bottle. When I look across the room, all I see is high fashion models. Huh. But all I could think about was you. It's crazy how your mind can be consumed. Huh. Let's quit the games now. I don't wanna play out. Your cold thorns, they stuck me. There is no way out. This torment that haunts me. This torment that haunts me. So much confusion. He's laughing and he thinking it's amusing to see us in this situation. But I was so impatient. Now my heart is conflicting my actions, baby. Yeah, I feel still. Cause all I want is you, girl. All I want is you, girl. All I need is you, girl. All I need is you, girl. I can't go without you, girl. I can't go without. All I need is you, girl.
It's WPRD 98.3 GCOM Radio, powered by Lyfeblood.com for the global community on the next go round. From right here to your time.
I already know.
We out.